Well, today I'm so excited because I love talking about things Jesus talked about. And Jesus talked about wealth, and he talked about money, and he talked about treasure, and he talked about gems. And so I have a guest today that is an expert in all of these things, at the top of his game, experiencing incredible success. And it's because I believe that he puts Jesus first. He puts the Holy Spirit first in all that he does. And so welcome, Michael McIntyre.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks
Jen.
so much.
So honored to be here. Thank you.
So you have a beautiful wife, Stacy,
Yes.
and 3 daughters.
Yes.
You live in an all-girl world. I live in an all-boy world.
Yes.
And so you have your family's in ministry with you and serving with you.
Yeah.
I love your mission statement for McIntyre Coaching. It's to awaken identity, activate purpose, and accelerate mission.
Yes.
That's like, let's go. I'm ready. Let's go. So
Right.
exciting. But you know, we have a mutual friend, Sandy.
Oh, yes.
And when I was talking to her, and she was telling me about your incredible conferences, she said he's so affirming, and he calls out greatness, and he's a visionary, and he just sees a masterpiece in everyone he meets. And I'm like, who is he? So I just love that you are positive, and that's how God is.
Amen. Yeah.
Okay, so tell my viewers about your testimony, your story. You were
yeah.
wealthy. You didn't need God. You were successful, and Jesus talks about, for someone that wealthy to get saved is like going through the eye
Of the needle.
Yeah, like a camel.
Yeah.
So tell us about your testimony.
All right. Well, thank you. And it's kind of interesting. I always quip that, on the road to Damascus, I was knocked off my Bentley. And so it was a radical shift for me. And I ran from Jesus all my life. It's not that I was an evildoer or anything. I just didn't believe Jesus was God. I didn't believe that there was a holy person out there, a holy being out there. I did believe that, this just didn't all happenstance. But I did run from Jesus for a long time. And one day in my book, I discuss it. My oldest daughter got really sick. And so I knew my mother had always taught me to thank God in all circumstances. She was kind of new agey, but she was still, they take a little bit from everywhere,
Yeah.
as you know. And so I thank God that we got her home okay, and she was okay from the hospital. And that night I had a huge dream. And in the dream, a big, huge voice spoke to me in a language I didn't understand or know. So I woke up the next day and I told my wife, Stacy, I said, what does this mean? She goes, go talk to your brother, Matthew, because my brother's a devout Christian. And so I went and had coffee with him. And I remember the day before thanking God that my daughter was safe and okay. And so the next day when I told my brother what the language was, he said, that meant you're welcome.
He knew?
He knew.
Wow.
And what's interesting is he's been praying for me, and there was a chain going for like 8 years of me coming to Jesus and giving my life to Jesus. So
wow.
And it was really cool because he got to be he was front lines and seeing all this, and God blessed him with that experience. And so, so my life radically changed at that point because I was very successful in business. I served 4 years in the United States Air Force, got out and got into insurance business and did really well, grew at a $3 billion company.
Wow.
And then Jesus came, and I finally surrendered my life and gave it to Jesus.
So your brother was praying for you,
Yeah.
your wife Stacy was praying for you,
Yes.
and a whole chain. And you made them pray for 8 years, huh?
I did.
Yeah.
Forgive me, Lord.
Yeah.
And but yeah, they did. They were faithful.
Yeah. That's awesome. I want her to come on because I know I was reading about the coaching that she does, just emotional healing and emotional well-being. And so
Stacy's amazing.
Can you put in a good word for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
In fact, I already texted her and said they wanted you here.
Yes. Well, okay. So let's talk about these conferences you're having, because I know that they're so important, especially for Christian wealth builders, because many times you're a believer and you want the principles from the Word. You don't necessarily want to go to a secular conference because you know that you're going to have to kind of take the meat and throw away the bone. So God has told you, to do these 2 conferences. Can you tell us a little bit about them in case anybody says, I've got to go, I've got to be there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we developed, when I had my insurance business, we had developed a really experiential training system. I didn't have Jesus in it at all, and it was very successful. Though we recruited and trained over 20,000 salespeople in our company. So when I gave my life to Jesus, I had a radical shift. I got filled with the Holy Spirit. It was awesome. And He said, "Okay, I want you to use this, but I want you to add the Holy Spirit to it."
Wow.
And so that's what we did. And our first dealings with that was with the Upper Room in Dallas, which long story, but I ended up being on staff there, that was a real knee slapper in heaven, I promise you that. But we did this, and so we did this experiential learning. It's kind of like when you learn how to ride a bike, right?
Yeah.
You have to get on the bike and learn how to ride it. You just don't, you can't YouTube and figure it out. You've got to do it. So we do these conferences, and they're 3 days. They're intense. They're not for snowflakes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's game on. It's Holy Spirit filled.
Hardcore.
Hardcore. But what's cool about it is that we have a curriculum, but the Holy Spirit always brings His curriculum.
He interrupts.
He does.
And you let Him.
Oh yeah, we surrender to that. And but it's life changing. It's something for people that want to take their life to the next level. It's not a hospital. It's for people whose lives are working.
Yeah.
And they can, whether they're business, housewife, husband, house husbands, whatever it is, and teachers. We have people from 18 to 72 to come through.
That's awesome.
And there's no money up front. At the end, if they want to bless us, they can. But the enemy told us, charge money, and then God says, no, take that out. Okay,
Wow.
We don't want that, and we want their commitment. So we took that out, and it's been going great. So it's in Dallas. It's 3 days. It's intense, but it's life changing. It's transformational training. And then we started the McIntyre Business Accelerator, MBA, and that's for people who are actually in business, who are entrepreneurs. We help people increase their revenue from anywhere from 25% to 180%.
Wow.
God's blessed me with the ability to create wealth. And Stacy and I, my wife and I, we've created over 175 multimillionaires. And there's actually some of them that still have their money.
Okay, so that you just went over that so fast. So
Yes.
let's just back up. You and your wife have created
175 multimillionaires.
Wow.
Yeah, over the last 26 years, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know any human on the earth that can say that.
Oh,
To
I
God
think
be the
that-
glory.
well, thank you for that. But it's I didn't know. It's like my friend Sean Bowles. You know Sean,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, he endorsed my book, very generous. I remember I was on one of his shows, and I said, how do I know God's doing this stuff? How do I know I'm hearing God in this business? He goes, McIntyre, it's real simple. He says, think of all the things that you created, all the wealth that you created. He goes, you are listening to God because you're not that good.
Well, thanks, Sean.
That's right.
Thanks, Sean.
Right, and so I said, okay, that's true, because I could see things in business. I could see it playing out like I was watching a movie. And so I would bring this out, and I say, here's how it, and some people call it visionary, and what I didn't know, it was directly from the Holy Spirit.
That's right.
It's kind of like an algorithm. My friend Chris Valentin talks about it all the time. There's an algorithm of God going all the time, and all we have to do is reach up and grab it. Yeah. But so many times in the Christian community, people say, no, I don't need to make money. I don't need to do this. Which is not true. Yeah. I often say, I was telling your staff earlier, that the Good Samaritan would not have been famous if it weren't for money.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
and
right.
And a lot of people in our tribe want to give more and help more and do more missions and create things, but it takes money to do that.
That's right.
So
that's right.
That's what in McIntyre Business Accelerator, it's 3 days. We only limit it to 20 people. Okay, it's coming up here in August, and so you come in, and we invite you into our home. And we have 3 days. And what I do is I open up my billionaire Rolodex, so to speak, to where people can get an audience with some people that they might not have been able to get with. Because I remember when I was just starting out, and it was a struggle to get where I had to go.
Yeah.
And there was a few people that came and said, okay, I'll introduce you to this situation, to this person, which gave me a leg up in that situation. Yeah. So that's what we want to do.